Hello everyone, it is I, Mark Major, and we are here at the Action Figuratorium, and today I'm going to be doing another one of these fantastic, absolutely fantastic breakdown videos where I go through an action figure Kickstarter that just launched. In fact, I think it launched yesterday, and we do a type of marketing analysis on it to see how well we think it's going to do. Based upon the 3 best practices that we have established in the past with these episodes. And then, of course, I always like to weigh in. I always like to give an opinion. Do I like the figures? Do I not like the figures? What do I think of this? Am I going to back it? All that kind of stuff. You know, the personal doodad stuff. So everybody, strap on the leather. Hold on tight. The name of this Kickstarter is called Brutal Realm. We're going to go to desktop view right now, check it out. We are on the Kickstarter page. I will be, of course, putting up the graphic on the 3 best practices, and we're going to see if this meets the 3 best practices, but let's just get familiar with what we've got going on here, see what their pitch is, that kind of thing. So, Brutal Realm, they're looking for $140,000. Now, remember, we kind of have said in the past that the amount of money it takes to raise to make just one action figure mold is usually somewhere around $70,000 to $100,000. So the fact that they're asking for $140,000 tells me that they have done some type of research or looking into know the business costs of what it's going to take to get this made. They're not just picking some number. That's kind of a good thing. That's a bit of a green flag. So the number they're asking for right out of the gate, before I've looked to see how many figures and all that kind of stuff, seems kind of reasonable, like they know what they're doing. Okay. They've got 43 days left to go. They've already got 155 people who've backed it at this point. They're already 1/7 of the way there with 21,000 straight out the gate. Let's just take a look and see what it is that they are pitching us. So it's called Brutal Realm from Realm Toys. Look, there's like a barbarian guy. These are all just sort of, I'm just sliding through. There's like a skeleton guy, some kind of a medieval Aztec. Another kind of He-Man, Conan type guys. These are all drawings, though. They haven't shown me anything involving the toys themselves. Here we go. Here's some 3D prints of what the toys are going to look like unpainted. So we get an idea for what we're getting. They're sort of muscle-bound brutes, I would call them. Sort of beefcakes, juggernauts, barbarians, hunky warriors. I don't know. It's kind of an archetype we've seen a few times. Okay. So let's take a look at what the actual figures are here. Here's a little articulation chart showing that they've, you know, paid attention to all these different things that people probably want. Here's kind of a 3D rendered image of one of the guys. Here's kind of a comic book version of him. You know, I call this guy the medieval Aztec. He's sort of the best of like Inca and Zulu or something there. And we have Cronin. Where have we seen this figure before? This looks like, and then we have a Crow Man. It's kind of cool. He's got, is it a Crow Man? He's got a crow on his chest. Not bad. He's also got that Betty Page haircut. I think you guys know what I'm talking about up there. First wave army builders. So basically you can see here by looking at this image alone, you can see that it's the same naked dude body, same buck as they call it for all the guys, and you just get a different head. We're going to look at the rewards in a minute. Here's some 3D prints of the guys, what they look like, how they compose. They look kind of cool. I got to say, I came in thinking, you know, and then I actually took a look and I said, yep, these work. And let's look at the unlocks. If they can get to 150,000, they're going to get some sort of Flaming Lips fan guy, some sort of Cyber Indian. Then we get this sort of Mong, the Merciless dude here. He's got a cool looking bow. It'd be cool just to have the bow. Then there's this guy. He's yet another, you know, sort of servant of the bird, that kind of guy. He'd be cool with my Mythic Legion's Eaglist. They'd make sort of a cool, you know, buddy cop movie. maybe back that. Here's some owls, some axes. At $190,000, you get some sort of like grown-up dwarf guy. We're going to call that the rich man's Gimli. Some spears, some swords. Then we get into this guy, General Skeletor here. And here's Skeletor the assassin. And then, of course, we get our first female figure at $265,000. I think they should have moved this figure a little, unlock this a little sooner than later instead of way down here. But maybe they know what they're doing. I'm going to say right now, I'm going to cut a little bit to some subjectiveness when it comes to like the female figures. I'm, of course, a big fan of fantasy. And in the fantasy genre, women are allowed to be shoulder to shoulder with the men, wearing the armor and the swords, hacking and slashing and killing. It doesn't mean that they're better than the men or faster than the men or stronger than the men. It means that they can keep up. We accept that. That's not a problem. However, here's the thing about a holistic look at a line of toys. You've got plenty of muscular bound dudes slashing stuff. To have take the female and make her look like she's roided up, right? Like she's been working out as much as the men and she's equally strong, is a waste of a figure because we've got a ton of dudes like that. What you want to do is something different that we don't have, and what seems to work really well for female bodies, right, is things like witches and wizards and spellcasters and, robes and staves. And, you can have good characters and bad characters. There can be an evil Lyn. There can be there can be the enchantress, the sorceress, that kind of thing. Works much better for that. And, and then if you want to get into like sort of the cliche tropes of like, serving wenches or whores or vixens or prostitutes or that kind of thing. Let's kick that can a little further down, but you can at least do all sorts of like cool wizards and stuff of the female variety, since we've got so many hack and slash, sword and sandal dudes already. And this is also very kind of like Greek Athena-esque, and it's cool, but it's getting tired of it, seen it. We've got millions of everything. Show me something new. So let's pull up this graphic. I know you guys love it when things like graphics show up, but before we look at the rewards, let's pull this up so that everybody is on the same page. Best practices of crowdfunding as determined by me when going through about 4 or 5 different successful Kickstarters here within the last year and seeing what they did to get the most kind of money. All right, 3-tier pricing. All right, that's going to be the first thing here. 3-tier pricing. Let's see at the available rewards. So you can get an unpainted barbarian, $28. If you want him, and when I say barbarian, it's the generic buck, and then you select which type of head. Do you want the African head, the European head? Do you want the Asian head? Do you want that kind of thing? But if you want an unpainted guy with a head, $28. And if you're someone like me who enjoys painting, even if like maybe you're terrible at it, but you love doing it because it's fun to do and you get better and better, that might be a cool thing to pick up. Okay, if you want them painted, right? Your naked dude, your Betty Page hair, the Crow Man, whatever, or not specifically Crow Man, but you got like that guy, you want him painted. $30. So $2 more for to paint him. Okay, and then for $36, right, we get into sort of their heroes, their name guys. Ogon the Master, Crow Man, the dude that we said looked like He-Man. Cronin, who's kind of the no, Crow Man's the guy with the crow on his chest. Cronin was kind of the He-Man looking dude, and then he's got a bunch of these sort of bundle packs where you can get 3, 6, that kind of stuff, all that sort of stuff. Okay, so what is the cheapest offering? $28. Is that the standard figure? Kind of. The next bump up is sort of $36 for one of those name guys. So I could see the $28 being the sort of entry-level guy and the $36 being the deluxe. I feel that it might be better to separate them even a little bit more, maybe make the basic guy a little cheaper, maybe $25 to try and encourage people to buy a lot of them, right? It's a good carrot and stick sort of thing. And then maybe bump up, take, the couple extra bucks you take down, throw that on the deluxe guy, make them closer to like a $40 thing, maybe a $38 thing, that sort of thing. I would make those a little bit more different. Make the cheaper guy cheaper, make the little deluxe guy more expensive. The luxury item is probably locked away in one of those tiers. It's probably one of those like low rent Skeletor guys we saw back there. So don't know what his, those pricing is going to be until it unlocks. But I'm just going to assume that he's got a luxury item down the road. If they can get this $1 going, they get the money to get a second buck for a more expensive figure. So I'm going to say that this is pretty close to being good. They just need to tweak the prices. A little cheaper on the one, a little more expensive on the other, right? It's kind of fair. Okay, what was the next thing in our graphic? Wider selection equals higher sales. What that means is that the more things you have for offer, the more things people are going to buy. And in this case, he's actually got a pretty good selection. However, we're getting the same body over and over and over. In fact, anyone who backs this gets this body. There isn't a single person spending money on this who's not getting this body. You're basically buying this body. That's what this Kickstarter is for. It's this body. And then you sort of have the selection is in the heads. However, in that framework, these guys do have a pretty wide selection of heads, and you can see that they're heading towards some other unlocks, right, to get more variety in there. So I'm going to say a solid kind of B. The one body is like kind of takes it from an A to a B, to kind of a C, actually, I should say. And then the variety of heads takes it up to a B. Could be a little bit better. It's okay. First time doing a Kickstarter. Also, they probably don't know any of these approaches in marketing. And then the last thing, and this is also goes into vetting, is do they have all their marketing on this one Kickstarter? And from what I can tell, they do. I always like to vet the, oh, we've gone the wrong direction here. I always like to vet the people doing the Kickstarters to see if it's worth putting my money in, to see if it's going to actually fulfill. And one of the things that I like to look at is, do they have like a website? Is like Realm Toys, can I go to realmtoys.com? Can I see who they are? Is there a way to contact them? Is there an address? Is there past projects they've done? Is there links to this sort of thing? And the only thing that these guys have is an Instagram. Now, the Instagram looks hella cool, okay? They've got their print-up figures. They've got these graphics that they generated from some sort of 3D renderizer thing. And it all looks really cool. However, I just got to say that putting up photos of 3D printed guys and 3D rendered graphics, to me, good start, solid start. And if these guys are the people that actually sculpted these figures and they didn't hire it out to someone else, like they're the leads, they're the designers, but someone actually does the work, and then they approve of it. Who's ever doing the sculpting, they should be given a job somewhere. These guys should work. They should find work. And if it's these guys, maybe they should go work for somebody. Maybe they should be hired by McFarlane or something like that to help sort of invigorate the brand, come up with something new, something fresh, squeeze some, some new chutzpah into like an existing line or an existing toy company, that kind of thing. So not bagging on the guys, but personally, although this does visually look cool, it's not enough to convince me that you're a real company and that you know what you're doing and you're going to fulfill. I need to see that. I need to see that vetted before I can give money. And if I come off sounding like a dick, I'm sorry, but you see so many projects that get really, really, really far. They get almost to the finish line and they don't make it. Even projects where like they mail out some stuff, they fulfill a few things and they still don't make it. So that would be my concern on something like this. I just don't see enough experience and proven track record. I don't see them working with anyone that I recognize in the sort of indie toy industry. If you go down to the campaign all the way to the bottom, a lot of these campaigns will list all the people who worked on it, and the best ones always have a huge list of people. If you look at Savage Crucible, which is one of the best Kickstarters that's ever like come along, right? Both in terms of like what they're offering and the amount of money they raised, but look at the credits. A lot of people worked on that, a lot of people. And so if you don't see any credits with the people that you can go look up and check out their Instagrams and their websites and their sort of online vendor booths of what they do, you know, 3D print merchants and things like that, painters, soft goods creators, comic book people, that sort of thing. That's kind of a red flag. I like to see like a list of cats working on this, and I don't necessarily see that. In fact, when you read the story, it's two guys who just love action figures, and they decided to make some more mythological type things. Okay, so these guys are clearly doing all right in terms of like their offering, their marketing. You know, there's some red flags, but I'm not saying that this is terrible by any means. I do like the look of the figures, although every kind of Kickstarter I see, I like it. If it exists and I can have it in my hand, I would like it. I'm just worried about these guys being able to fulfill at the very end. It's a little suspect. People mean well. They really want to create this stuff, but they have no idea the problems of what is ahead of them to work with a factory in China. Now, if these figures are just 3D prints, that some type of 3D print factory, local, shop that's got a bunch of 3D printers running around the clock, and they're just like feeding this data, and they're getting these parts that they're going to, they're going to sand them and polish them, and they'll paint them or whatever and assemble them and that kind of thing and send them off. Huge red flag, because you do not need a Kickstarter for that. You need a Kickstarter when you need to raise a bunch of capital to get a mold made and get a bunch of pieces made from a factory and then get it assembled and shipped back over here and pay whatever tariffs, that kind of thing. It takes a big chunk of money to start something up. You don't need that for a 3D print run. And so I'm not sure if that's what this is. They haven't told me anything about going to the factory and when it's going to be delivered and things like that, the long-term vision. And I do see 3D prints. So there is a little bit of hesitation on my part as to what the finished product is going to be. Okay, now I think the big thing, the big elephant in the room is, do we like overall the figures? And I'm going to say that this is an itch that has been scratched a lot now by Mythic Legions, right? Now by Savage Crucible. Of course, we haven't got their big beefy barbarian dudes yet. They have been shipping their first wave. Second wave is coming soon, so we will have those in hands. Also, there's a few sort of smaller lines that make sort of Frank Frazetta figures, sort of muscular beefcake dudes. There was the Storm Collectibles did their Golden Axe figures, which is basically just a generic beefcake in a loincloth that's this size. I talk about them all the time because they're super overpriced and a huge ripoff, and please do not buy them. We have to send a message, please stop making overpriced beefcake guys for 120 bucks when Kickstarter people have them for 28, right? But we see a lot of these barbarian figures quite a bit. In fact, some could say that this Brutal Realms is really for people who missed out on Masters of the Universe Classics, which is an extremely cool toy line that came out for just a brief moment. It was done by the Four Horsemen who sculpted it, who also do the Mythic Legions, right? You could only get it through online subscription. You had to pay for the entire wave, and you sort of got it like you're buying Omaha steaks. They would just, send you them as they came in. So you couldn't like cherry pick or order just the one guy. You had to order them all. That means it's going to be to buy 6 or 8 guys. It's going to be a bigger package thing to sell. You're going to have fewer of them sold because, less people have that much money to buy all 8 Motu Classics in a subscription wave. So we've got very small numbers. If you missed out on those, it's a huge bummer to go cherry pick the ones you want on eBay because they're all really expensive. Well, this kind of scratches that itch in a way. Whatever people see in those Motu Classics, I can kind of see in Brutal Realm. To me, it seems like they're going along with some of these other 1/12 fantasy characters, but they also really seem to be more of kind of leaning heavily into the Motu. I mean, everything about this, their marketing, a realm of high fantasy, lost science, and wondrous magic. That's Masters of the Universe, the science magic combination universe. They kind of own that, even though I, as a kid, when I watched the show, I thought it was kind of hokey. So, Thundar the Barbarian, much better. By the way, when is somebody going to bring back Thundar the Barbarian action figures? Are we going to see that from Super 7 Ultimates? Don't know. Probably not. I guess we should probably wrap this up. People have heard way too much of me caffeinated and talking about marketing your toys on Kickstarter. Am I going to back this? I am probably not going to back it. If there is a type of a pledge or something, I might throw some money their way to say, good luck, guys. But I gotta see it to believe it if this thing actually gets made and shipped. If it does, you know that you're gonna see them on Big Bad Toy Store. And like I keep telling these guys, when they set their prices, if the price of paying for your figure on Kickstarter plus eventually the shipping is more than what it would cost to get it from Big Bad Toy Store, who does mark it up a little bit, but only charges $4 flat shipping. If it comes in cheaper because of the $4 flat shipping from Big Bad Toy Store, why would I want to give my money and have it held up for 2 years with the possibility I'm never getting anything back on it, when I just wait to see if it funds and the stuff actually ships to the United States and get it for less money? It doesn't make any sense. This needs to be addressed by future Kickstarters who are setting their prices and what they're going to do with the finished product in terms of giving it to resellers, making those prices fit so that in a carrot and stick situation, you not only encourage people to fund your Kickstarter, but they kind of have to. They're like, well, if I don't get it in, it's so much cheaper now. They're $28 now if I pay for it. They're going to be $55 when they're at Big Bad Toy Store. I'm just going to pay for them now. You need to really make it like that different to get people through the door. So, thank you to everybody who has made it this far in the video. As always, I think we need to stay charged.